Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. Boom. And today we're going to be talking about generative music. What is it? Do you use it? How do you use it? Why do you use it? That's Oj. Hello. Welcome to the show. My name is Jade, and yes, this is How to App on iOS. Today is a good day. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Let's do some shout-outs. If you're watching this on the replay, you might want to skip ahead about 10 minutes or so. Just putting it out there. Thomas, E-Urban, Bloody Ritual, Semtex Cow, Joe Glenn, Jenny Jolivet, hello. Tremor Bear. Well, Semtex Cow, g'day. Pete Johns is here early. What's going on, Pete? Thanks for that wonderful reference. Going swimmingly today. Absolutely. Very exciting day today. Yes, we're doing this. Leela, thank you for dumping everybody over here. Empirism was here earlier. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. So let's cut through the malarkey, as Joe Biden would say. And yesterday, after I finished my stream, things have been a little bit bleak around here on the channel. It's been very hard. Let's just get the elephant out of the room. It's been very hard getting up each day and doing a show and doing pre-recorded videos with all the kind of background drama that's going on here in my home. They're selling my house. The owners are selling my house. And for the last month, I've had to look for housing. And it's been a real struggle because, you know, I don't have a car and getting around to all these places. And what I do for work is very unique, to say the least. And, was rejected by quite a few places and thought that it wasn't going to happen. And we currently have under 3 weeks to get out of here. So it was looking pretty bad. And yesterday, after I finished the show, I got a call from one of the places I looked at last weekend saying, "You've got the place." And I was like, whoa, finally something. Was it the one that I was really wanting? No, not really. But obviously I was going to take it if that's what it come down to, because a house is a house. But it was a house. It was an apartment. So it was similar to what I have here. It wasn't a home. So I waited for the rest of the day and I contacted the other place that I actually applied for, the one I really wanted. And I got that one as well. So I actually got a home, not an apartment, a fucking home. A ground level, no stairs, a home with a beautiful space for my studio. And I just want to say now, if you are watching, to my amazing real estate agent, Jason, you rock, my friend. Thank you so much. And to the owners of the house who are overseas, if you're watching as well, thank you so much. Very excited to be able to move into a place that I can treat as nicely as I've treated this place for 7 years. I really cared about this place that I live at, even though it's had a lot of dramas. To be given a place to move into that I get to grow in, and who knew? Let me just put this out there, folks. Let me just put this out there. Yes, Ali, I got the house. I got the one. Here's how I got it. I just was honest with who I am and what I do and my misgivings and my follies and my aspirations and goals, and that's what I did. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without my wonderful realtor, Jason, who, after I looked at the house last week, we chatted for 20 minutes and he asked about my story. And I just told him my story like he was a friend. And that's what got me the place. He said I pretty much had it after our conversation. And he was hoping I would submit an application. I think references don't really mean much. Let me tell you this, because Pete Johns was one of my references. They didn't even call him. I think if... And I think we used to live in a day and age where people would lie about references and try and smudge things. I think these days it's probably better just to tell who you are and build a character and your goals and aspirations and stuff like that. So I know, Ali, it's pretty wild. So what's happening here? So we'll just cover this before we get into today's show. It's really just an opinion stuff today. It's not really an app review, just talking about generative apps. And one of the major players in the generative app scene is here. Chemolk, so thanks for joining us. Paul as well. Interviewing Paul on the show tomorrow. Lux is here as well. Thank you, Urban. Thank you, everybody who said nice words about getting a house. What was I going to say? So what's happening here on the channel? It is unclear because moving. I will be out of here by I'll be moving next Friday. So tomorrow, week's time, Thursday for you guys outside of Australia. I'm going to start moving ahead this week and moving some stuff, but the major move will be on the 22nd. And the studio will be down, of course. Internet has to be connected. Just switched over to the new place because the internet's already connected there. Just have to switch everything over. You know what it's like with internet companies. All they have to do is flick a switch, but for some reason it takes days to connect. So we might not be here for a week. I don't know. I can't tell you. But as of next Thursday, next Wednesday, will probably be Tuesday. Your time will be the last show for a bit until everything's settled. And I just can't wait. I don't give a shit about the move. I don't give a shit how hard it's going to be. I don't give a shit. Pineapples, man. That's going to be the new joke for sure. I don't know how public will go with the pineapple joke because it's a bit of a landmark. But fuck, man, very, very exciting times. Maybe on the weekend. I know on the Patreon I'll be running through what the place looks like. Let me tell you, it's really beautiful. It's really schmick. It's really nice. So yeah, it's all been just freshly renovated, freshly painted, new up. It's mint. So very, very exciting stuff. Can't wait to get in there. Can't wait to see what the next chapter is for this channel and to take this forward. We're going to have a separate studio as well in the garage for shooting B-roll and doing stuff. So it's the right thing, yeah. I needed to move long ago. I did need to move long ago, E-Urban. It's just, it's hard looking for a place, doing what I do and being trans. And I'll tell you the truth. My real estate agent is so rad. Even asked me my pronouns yesterday, but I was honest with him. I got so disheartened with house hunting and being rejected that I had started, going there and not even showing any signs of being trans. Even some of the places I went, I had taped these things down, which is no mean feat. Let me tell you that. I was changing who I was just to get into a house. That's the world we live in, But where I am now, where I've been accepted, I don't have to do that. The owners know who I am. The owners overseas watched my YouTube channel. Real estate agent Jason watched my YouTube channel. So again, if you guys are watching, we're going to take this to the next level, baby. Let's do this. All right, so let's get into today's show. Hey, Kim, what's going on? See, never lose hope, folks. Never lose hope. I know things are really fucked over in the US and things. Just hold on to it. I say it here all the time. You just don't know what's coming. All right. Yeah, we do love Jason. He's awesome. Anyway, so I'm signing the papers today, and I may even have the keys today. So I may take the camera down there, and we'll go for a walkthrough, and maybe we'll put up on the members page and get to see it all naked before we move in. So very exciting. It's only about 5 minutes drive from where I am. Anyway, let's go. We've wasted. So sorry to those of you watching the replay. Skip forward. I did say 10 minutes. Here we go. Let's talk about generative music, because it's really everywhere you look these days, isn't it? And what is it exactly? Well, it's, in my opinion, now I can only say in my opinion, and I'm going to tell you how I use it. I want to know how you use it, and do you think is it something that is viable? I know there's a lot of it around. Now, I remember when I first heard of this generative thing, I was like, man, that's a bit random. And that's it, isn't it? It's random, but with rules. So obviously the main two rules of anything that is generative is a scale and a key. You need that for it to have some kind of direction to follow, or it's going to be bedlam. You know, it's going to be like AI with 8-finger hands. And there's all types of different randomization that comes with this type of sound creation. There's chance, probability, randomization. These are all things that I find interesting because they are associated with gambling. Chance, probability, you know, it's almost like you're gambling, but this is better than gambling because guess what? You're not going to lose your house or your family. And yes, generative music has its roots in analog modular synthesis. So yeah, it's been around a very long time in a completely different form, mostly in a form that your everyday person couldn't just pick up and make. And now, 2024, we're in this utopia where we have everything on tap, so much so that maybe we have too much. You know, there's too much choice to have, and it gets a bit overwhelming. Just like anything, when you have too much choice. But yeah, in the day, you had to have some kind of complex piece of equipment, lights, wires, cables, all that kind of stuff to do this kind of thing. These days, we can pick up an app from Chem for $5 and you're off. You're racing. So the thing is, when I first came across it, I was like, why would I use this? I'm a musician. I make music. That sounds quite arrogant, doesn't it? It really does sound arrogant. I've been practicing my skill for years and years. I definitely don't know every chord under the sun. I'm shit with scales. I didn't really pay attention to theory when I was learning guitar and all that. Vocals are a different thing. I can hit a C when I need to. You know, that's something I studied. So that helps with playing music, helps with playing guitar and understanding where things are. And again, you play guitar, you're going to kind of pick up playing keys a little bit easier as well because you understand the way the notes flow. But scales, especially some of the scales that we are privy to in some of these modern apps, you wouldn't be able to rattle this shit off. I mean, I've seen shows out there that say there's not enough scales in this app. And there's something like 50 scales. It's like, how many fucking scales do you need? Really? Like, are you going to use them all? Are you going to use them all? Thomas Christ says, generative is kind of a super sophisticated arpeggiator, if you think of it, or an aggregator, or a supercomputer, something that's smart and pulls together all these notes and spits them out. But the thing is, you have the control to how much chance or randomization or how much of the velocity is going to get randomized around. And sometimes it's hit and miss. Sometimes you can set something up and it sounds like dog shit. Because that's the game of the randomization, isn't it? Sometimes it can even sound incorrect. Like, I don't know what it is. Sometimes I'll do some things and I'll be like, man, that sounds wrong for some reason. But I guess it depends on the width of the randomization. I mean, a lot of these apps give you control to do that. Something like, even though it's not randomization, progressions by 4Pockets gives you the option to create chords and stuff and then go outside of the scales and kind of break the rules a bit, and they can get a bit ruly and stuff like that. I know, Ali. It's nuts. So, and I use generative apps a lot, but I don't necessarily use them to make the music that I release. It is a part of it, but it's not the focus. Now, this is just me personally. I'll tell you where I use it for making my music is things like intros to a song or parts where I want to make some kind of dark soundscape or something like that, because that randomization can give you that kind of unpredictability to make an intro or a soundscape or something like that to lead into a song. I'm still a traditional musician who plays and drums and does all that kind of stuff. But where I use it the most is here on the channel to demo apps. Why? Because we all know how long it takes to write a song. And, you know, inspiration just doesn't always happen on command. It's a struggle. Yeah, it's definitely a struggle to continuously pour out stuff, and especially doing something like this where you've got a deadline to review an app, you've got to show it in some form as a musical in a piece. That's what I like to do anyway. So generative apps for me are just a godsend to be able to put together something very quickly, know it's going to be in a scale, and it will show off that particular app really well. And if I go through my AUM, there's a hell of a lot of projects from the past 4 years that I have all stored that are really, really cool things that who knew I could make music without really even making it, just by going, I'll just choose this, this, and this. So there's definitely a place for it in my world. I use these apps every day. Nearly every project I'll start on the show opens with a generative app. Now, there's different types of generative apps as well, and we're going to look at a few of them today. No, this isn't a tutorial or anything like that. And as I said, Chem is here, and he is the godfather of generative apps with his Bud series. They're just freaking amazing. And, you know, even the last one I reviewed, Harmonic C, is generative music using emojis. And when I saw it, I said in the review I did, I was like, who the is going to use emojis to make music? And there's even a comment on that video saying, when I saw it, I was like, this is a gimmick. But then I started playing with it. And the actual, the engine in there, the harmonic engine in there is a delight to use. Who knew? You know what I mean? Hello, Feisty Feather. What's going on, darling? Good to see you. Yeah, Chem is next level. You know, if you haven't seen the interview I did with Chem, look him up. There's his name, Chem Olkay, or I'll say, I think it's Olkay. I've been saying it all the time. He hasn't corrected me yet. And I had him on the show. But I did an interview with him. And it's really interesting to hear the way his brain works. So let's jump over here and talk about some generative apps. Now, it's interesting because there are so many of them now. And you kind of feel like, are we going to run out of ideas? I'm sure Chem sits there going, what could I do next? I often think, I wonder what Chem has in the bank for the next year of stuff. Does he sit there and stress the fuck out, going, what? Look around, what can I use? There's a spoon over there. What can I get some ideas for? I just wonder what his process is these days, because he's done so many apps. And Michael Thompson, g'day to you. All right, so here we are in AUM. Now I preloaded something. So let's just go, we don't want to save. We want to come over here. And look at all these things. Now, this clearly isn't all of them, but this is just 2 rows of some stuff randomly that I just picked last night. And for some reason, I've got 2 of these. Let's get rid of that. We'll come in here What else can we find? We'll grab another one of Chem's ones. Let's do... I'm looking for one in particular. Have I passed it? I think it's... we've got Snake Bud in there. Muse Bud. Let's do Muse Bud. So these are a whole bunch of different ones here. What do? We'll just create something really simple in here, and we'll connect them all up. Maybe we'll create two. So last night I did a review for Atoms, if you haven't seen that, by Baby Audio. So we'll grab that. We'll grab, what else can we grab? Super well planned here. Spelldozer. Spelldozer is a nice one to throw in there. And we'll just throw in a piano as well. Piano is nice and easy. And we'll put some effects on them. So they're sounding okay. We'll go with like an Altetha here. What do we go on this one? We'll throw on... maybe a diffuse here. We'll throw a cascade on this one. No, let's throw a crystalline. So a Baby Audio with a Baby Audio. And let's start down here. So this is Zoa. And in fact, let's grab something else. We'll make 4. Let's just go for it. Audio unit. House mark. And we'll put just a black hole. So we'll put a bunch of reverbs on these. Simple dimple. All right, so some of these ones have, so you can split tracks out. So I can split like 4 tracks out to each and every one of these. So for example, this is Zoa. I've used this on so many demos. Utterly generative. Hit an action, get it going. Again, you're going to see this in all of these. Choose what you want to go. So we'll go, I don't know, an E. We can choose the scale. E major, that sounds good to me. We can choose the size and the way things auto advance or respawn. I'm just going to turn these off. And we've got 4 channels over here. Now, with all of these generative apps, you've got to remember, these don't make any sound. They just generate MIDI. So be aware when you buy these and see these kind of things, you need to plug them into things to generate sound. They just generate MIDI notes. Now, in using them on iOS, definitely there's some things to remember. GarageBand, you're going to have some issues with. If you're using GarageBand, it's one of the doors out there that doesn't really cater too well to using MIDI processors. So you've got MIDI sounds, instruments, and all that kind of thing. Then you've got MIDI processors. GarageBand's really not good for that. But Logic, Cubase, AUM, nearly everything else is going to be sweet for using this. Loopy, whatever you're using, you're going to be fine with these kind of apps. But GarageBand, not so much. So the beautiful thing about this is you can connect this up here. So certain ones, this one, see here, you can just send all the sounds out to all the apps, or you can send them out to individuals. So let's just do this. We'll just go to, what have we got here? We'll just go down the bottom. We'll send one out to Atoms. We're going to send number 2 out to Spelldozer. We'll send number 3 out to Piano Tech. And we'll send number 4 out to Housemark. I haven't even checked the sounds that are ready to play. But now that it's all connected, again, we've got these 4 channels. We need to turn them all on. Before I do anything, you can change the pace of them all. So this is where things like randomization and pace, how fast they're going to process. So let's do this. Let's take this one down to a quarter. Take this one down to a half. We'll take this one down to a whole. And we'll put this one up to a 16th. And we can extend So these are all going to be playing the same notes, but they're playing all at a different speed. So if we hit play, let's choose a pluck for this. Some kind of pluck, or a bass even. And we're off. Now we can probably, as you hear, swap these around. Wicked stuff. So here's the thing. You don't always have to make music to release it. The other thing I use these generative apps for, and I know Leela does and quite a few people do as well, is for going to sleep. Yeah? Because sometimes you just don't want to listen to the music that you have on Apple Music. And these are just, I know it sounds, some people might think it's ridiculous, but I would really be happy to buy something like this, just to make something like this to go to sleep to. It's evolving, it's changing, and you can control the evolving. Let's turn on the auto advance, where this will, and respawn. So now when we play, you've got control to move this stuff around, and so it's ever evolving. Yeah, I love it too, Leela. I do love it. Let's get rid of this. Let's try something else. Let's come in here. Now, not all generative apps are the same. So some of them you're going to look at and go, oh, is that a step sequence? Or so yes, something like this glitch step, which I looked at last week. Let's connect this right now just to a piano. We'll send this down here to Piano Tech. And where this becomes more than a sequencer is again, so many apps now have a dice somewhere. And you can see, you can randomize pretty much everything in here. So, you know, gates, velocity. Yeah, you need to get some sleep. Exactly. You should just generate some music and go to sleep. Get some sleep. Fucking knock yourself out, Kurt. Seriously, stop worrying. But see, with something like this, you can generate. So we can choose a scale. Always with these apps, you're going to want to choose a scale. And look at these scales. Like, who uses some of these scales? What is G's? Can anybody tell me what G's is? Oh, let's just pick it. I have no idea. F sharp, G's. There you go. And we can now randomize this, and it's going to give us a pattern here. So we are just randomizing the notes at the moment, and we can go in and randomize the steps as well. But now if I hit play on this, let's change the rate. But pretty much, this is just going in a pattern. But this is where things get interesting. Again, with this particular app, we can come in here and randomize and add sections. And then start adding these to a playlist, like so, then we can come up here to this one, add 2 of these, start randomizing velocities, and now we've got two things interjecting with each other and moving. Once I hit play here, we have a playlist of this going along. You'll see this in a second. Changing all of these things out. So you shouldn't get the same thing repeat. Things like moving back and forward and ping pongs. So what are we in? What was the scale? Maybe we should change the scale from G's. I don't know if every app's going to have that. Hey Barry, covered by CQ. Thank you all for hanging out. All right, let's try something else. Let's try something bonkers like, let's get into something by Chem, because Chem's, I don't even have, do I have harmonic? Yeah, I have harmonic C here. What was that one? It was here. Let's remove that. Let's kill that one. Let's get rid of it. Goodbye to you. Let's go over to something like MuseBud. And we'll send MuseBud out to, I don't know. Let's send it out to Adams. Now, the thing with Chem's apps, which is really cool, they're very simple. There's nothing too complicated about them. Once you've got a hold of a couple of them, you're going to understand the whole idea of how to use them. Everything's very similar. Again, you'll always find your scale and key. You want to always select that first so you know what you're doing. We've got a natural minor here we can select, a key. I don't know, let's do an F sharp. Why not? Because whatever. Now, I haven't even changed anything. We're going to get out of pads. Hello, Ivan. Now, again, you're going to see a lot of this stuff in these apps, yeah? Percentages. Percentages, folks. We can randomize a lot of this stuff. We can change things like the duration of... Now, I've done full walkthroughs for all of these. Let's take out this out of the game. We've got like a looper rolling here as well. So what scale did we pick for this? In fact, what I'm going to do is slow down the BPM. So we picked a F sharp natural minor. This is Melody Bud. Let's send a Melody Bud out to our piano. change our scale. So the beautiful thing is with this stuff, we know it's not going to be out of the scale. We shouldn't get any problems. We're going to get stuff that's going to sound pleasing. Yes? That's what we want, pleasing. Now, with things like, which one do we open? Melody Bud, you have things like the octave. We can change the octaves over here. We can turn up things like randomization. We have things like ratcheting. And you're going to find a lot of these in this similar terminology: ratcheting, gating, velocities, octaves, notes. For most of the time, you're not really going to even need to know how to make music or what anything is. You just fart around. Just fart around. Let's throw something interesting into the mix, like Euclidean from 4 Pockets, a completely different kind of thing. We'll send this over to Housemark. I'm going to set the scale here. I'm going to turn these 4 little nodes on. Sync this up. In fact, what we'll do is we'll do a randomize, and then we'll change the scale. Exactly. This is what is interesting. It's generative, but there are rules. If there are no rules, well, it's going to sound like shit. It's going to sound like dog food. Let's change this up. Bring in our piano. But then it's just jazz. Empirism. Just jazz, man. While we're chilling, because this is just a chill, talk about generative, how much fun they are, and that, you know, sometimes it's a good idea to think outside the box and add something like this to a song, or to generate ideas. We'll come back to that thought in a second. Let's run the ad for today. Every day on the show we run an ad halfway through. We're a little bit late today. You can avoid the ad by becoming a YouTube premium subscriber. The ad has been run. And while we're waiting, guys, let me tell you what's coming up tomorrow. We have a very special guest coming on the show tomorrow. That is P-A-L, Paul. We're going to hang out with Paul because he's awesome. He makes great music. I've known him for a while here throughout the iOS community. So hopefully you can come along and check that out this weekend. I'm doing a Ben Folds 5. It may be the last opening hour for just a little bit till we move and everything. And here we are. Oops, we've got to kill that. So this is sounding rad already. I'm happy. Well, let's see what else we can add to the mix. Speaking of harmonic C, now there's way too many apps for me to cover today. Absolutely, yeah. Let's connect this to our last instrument. Okay. So we'll come back over here. Right here. There you are. Nice. I'm just going to close my eyes. I'm going to add some strum to this. This one's really nice. It's got this beautiful strum option. I haven't seen the eggplant emoji in here. I have a feeling Chem did that on purpose. I don't know. G'day, Ed Z. Because, you know, it was the first thing I went looking for was the eggplant. I got to admit. I haven't seen it. What do we throw in here? We've got some presets in here for this. See you later, Empirism. Yes, yes. We see the app icon. Oh. Now, if it had been an eggplant, I would have like, what the fuck is going on here? But there's even other things, right? So, and like I said, we're not going to have time to go through everything here today. So let's kill these. Because, I mean, the beautiful thing is it's just so easy to throw something together. This is where these apps really shine, as I've pointed out a couple of times. What else do we have connected? Oh, it's this one. Of course. Something like Bounce Bud, I really love. Why do I love Bounce Bud? It's great for making soundscapes. So this is Bounce Bud. It's as generative as it can get. You've got a whole bunch of crazy colored balls you can change the size of. They're just bouncing around. You can make them collide into each other. And each section here can be sent out to a different instrument. Let me show you how you can do that. So you can send the top one. So the top sounds will go to Atom. The bottom row will go to Spelldozer. The left row will go to Piano Tech. And the last one will go to House Mark. How have I got this all set up? Once I hit play, now you have, beyond a shadow of the doubt, generative madness. But again, still within the scale. And the one thing with Chem's apps, and I am focusing on Chem's apps today because he has some wonderful apps in here. You can combine a whole lot of these. He's made these so they can be controlled by like BrainBud, which BrainBud can connect to a multiple selection of instruments and can change the key of all of them together really easily. We've also got something like MIDI Step, which has just been released by 4Pockets. So let's come in here and load a guitar in here and add some guitar to this, which it still is a sequencer to a degree, MIDI Step, but it has randomization and it can get quite generative if you set it up right. We're going to keep our scale here. What have we got? I think we're on a minor. C minor, I think we're on. Now all of these can be randomized. Even to the point of adding chords. Hi, Spider-Verse. Delays, repeats can be randomized. So much so you can get in here and mess with probabilities. Let's go to a divider. And even so much so, we can change the length of each section separately. Clusters around specific notes. Look, MIDI step is so fucking deep. It's actually ridiculous how deep it is. We can come in here and even create chords. And even one of the latest things that Paul has added is bends and hammer-ons and hammer-offs. It's quite crazy. We can add strums and it's piano motifs. So it's interesting, when I will do a show, when I'll do a demo, I normally start off with something like scalar, just to set some chords. And then, like if you saw my demo last night, let's get out of here. We'll finish with this. So last night I dropped a demo for Atoms by Baby Audio. And here is my setup. This is what I'll do for a demo pretty much every day because, as I said, you don't have the time to create an entire song. So here we have a scalar with a scale, an E-flat major scale. That's good. We've got some chords in this one. Then I've copy and pasted the same chords over into this instance, but this is set for bass. So this is sending bass notes out. Then I've just randomly chosen Snakebud. And lastly, down here, we have glitch step. And I think there's some drums. So I added a splat to clat just for a bit of grit. And I think, again, this just took, what, not even 5 minutes. For a demo, it's enough. In my opinion, though, where generative apps really shine for me is for soundscapes and horror and stuff like that, for really creating a lot of the dark stuff I like to create. So I'm kind of got this other project I've been working on for a little while here. See if I can find it. I can't tell you what the name of it is because it's part of a game kind of thing at the moment. And what have I got running in here? So, oh, we got some Octocron in here. Holy shit, I don't even know what this sounds like. Did I click the right one? I did. So this is Harmonisa. Again, another great one. Riffler. I mean, there's so many. This isn't an ad today for apps. It's just, I think, you know, some people look at making music and go, holy shit, I don't know anything about making music. Can I do it? Well, of course you can. There are things like this out there that can help you do so. I'm just trying to find a demo which, yeah, so this one uses Bounce Bud and Snake Bud and an LFO, pretty much. So again, for creating soundscapes, you can see we've got Bounce Bud sending data out to all 4 of these, and these are all just healing bowl with different reverbs on them, different pitches. This is where I really find pleasure using generative apps, because it's random. It's random chaos. And I know a lot of people aren't into soundscapes and noise and that kind of shit, but it is what it is. Playbeat, Zoa, Uda, Chord Jam. There's so many. It's ridiculous. I really should move all my demos of generative stuff into a playlist. I might do that when I move next week and get everything set up, because they deserve their own playlist. If you go through my channel, everything's organized into playlists. It's very, very well organized, let me tell you that. So, let me bring this down. So just to close, we got Thomas Christ up next. And listen, am I going to, you know, make music to release to DistroKid or for any of the bands? No, I'm not going to use generative stuff for that. I will continue using it for intros and stuff like that, soundscapes. This little project I'm working on now that you're hearing in the background, this is something that is a whole soundscape album I've been working on. So there's a lot of generative stuff in there, because I like the idea of when I hit record, I don't know what's going to come out of it. And that take is going to be that take for that particular album. For demos here on the show, I'm going to continue to use them and hope that heaps more, you know, innovative stuff comes out, that it gives me an easier job to demo apps. But I implore you, give it a try, even if you just want to make something to go to sleep. Music doesn't have rules, folks. It does have scales and all that jazz, but then jazz. It only has as much, you know, regulation as you decide to put on it. Well, I am. Yeah, that's the thing, Euban. I have this whole album that's very close to being finished. That is this kind of stuff. Sleep music. That kind of stuff. There you go. So yeah, we got the snake in here running. There you go. Nice and slowly. Another great app. And I check out ChemOK, because look, he's got a lot of fucking apps. He's got a lot of fucking apps. What do we do here? Can I go by developer? I don't even know how you show up as a developer here. Anyway, I've got to get out of here because Thomas is up next. let's do that. Tom is up next. He's playing your most rockin' music. I'll see you tomorrow here on the channel with an interview with Paul. And I may be dropping another demo tonight, so look out for that. But yeah, just wanted to have a chat about this stuff because, you know, I'm sure there's people out there who go, what is this? What? And there's still people, even now, who buy apps and don't realize the MIDI processor makes no sound. So maybe you've clicked on this and you got a little bit of a better understanding. Take a chance, some probability, take a risk on some generative stuff. You never know what you're going to make. You don't really need to be schooled in any of this stuff. Just grab a fucking... yeah, we get that too. And look, as Chem wrote, he's absolutely, you know, somebody who doesn't take anything to heart. I know Chem pretty well. He makes stuff that he hopes that people will have fun making music with, as do all the amazing developers here in our iOS community, yeah? All right, I'm out of here. Remember, folks, do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better, and we'll all rise together. Stay awake, and let's Oge, and I'll dump you over to Thomas Christ. Boom.